Hello everyone, welcome to Snow Bundle channel. And now to explain on the different types of charts which are created for the warehouse monitoring object. The first one is the query execution count, so which has been created using the query history view from the account usage schema, so that you can see using the edit query. As you can see here, I utilized the account usage schema and in that query history, and here I'm looking at the for each date and which warehouse is executing for how many number of queries per day basis, how many queries are executed by the warehouses. So these kind of information that we can get using the query history view. And here you could see that I have given the date range variable, so with which we can change the for which date or for which date range I wanted to get the details of this. And if I wanted to just see the number of queries which is executed by the warehouse for 7 days, then I can give this filter and apply. Now this will give the result only for the 7 days. So defining the variable and setting this filter function, so this as well I have discussed in the Snowflake dashboard playlist, so please check it. And going to the main dashboard page, the first one we saw that it is query execution count, so that we will get based on the filter whatever the days we wanted to get the data. I will set it to all time, then I will give apply. And this is also built on the query history view, but here we are looking at the query execution time in second by each warehouses per day. On the 10th date, the compute warehouse utilized only for 24 seconds to execute the query. So this is excluding all non-execution of the warehouse related time. It could be provisioning of the warehouse and resuming the cluster, suspending the cluster, and suspending the warehouse. For all these, the warehouse could take a fraction of second, but so that kind of information we will get in event history. But here the important part is how much time the warehouse is taking to execute the queries per day. So if you wanted to get this kind of information, then we can get it using query history view. Here you could see that on the 14th date, so these many warehouses were active, and the compute warehouse took almost 284 seconds of all the queries which were run during that day. And if you wanted to see the query, here you can see it. So this is a query which has been used to get that information. First I will click on save, as I have set the all time, so that's why it is asking me to rerun it or refresh the data. Here you could see that account usage with the query history object is being used, and for getting the execution time in second, the column name is total elapsed time is divided by 1000, because by default this column will give the data in milliseconds. That's why it has been converted into second for easy analysis. And also I've taken other data as well, and if you wanted to understand the data at the micro level, this will be helpful. Please note that I have used the warehouse name is not null, since it was giving a data for the cloud services where it was not using the warehouse. Example, for executing the DDL operation and for running the show and describe command, and for other Snowflake functions where it won't take the warehouse into consideration for executing the queries. Or it could be getting the data from the warehouse cache or result cache, so that time warehouse won't be consuming any credits. But here I'm aggregating the data at the warehouse level and the by date and the time it took for each day by the warehouses which were active for that day. And going to the main dashboard and coming to the next chart, which is average query running time by each warehouses per day. And if I go to the query section, here I use the warehouse load history object from the account user schema, and I'm taking the average running of the average, since I'm aggregating over a date, as it was having a start time which is the timestamp, so that's why I'm aggregating for per day basis. So per day by each warehouses which were active in that day, how much average running time it took. So that we can get it using this average of average running time. And also I have calculated the average queue load in the same query and the average queue provisioning, as we will get this kind of data from the load history. However, this table can give multiple dimension data, but when it comes to the chart, here we can show maximum of 3 dimension, but for this bar chart I can show only 3 dimension data by considering category as the third dimension, which is the warehouses. And the next style is the warehouse cost by date by the enterprise edition. So here I've just taken an example of the enterprise edition. So however, if you are having a different Snowflake edition, so based on that the cost needs to be changed. For each date, how much the currency has been used, that can be calculated. So here I use the warehouse metering history and going to the query, I'll be heading the result. Here you could see that I have used the warehouse metering history, and here I calculated for the free cloud credits and I did a minus for the credits used by the compute. So what this query will tell is, as I said before, the Snowflake will provide 10% of the total credits used by the compute as a free cloud credits. If the credits are crossing more than 10% of the credits used by daily, then only it will be costed. That's what it has been calculated over here. So 10% of the total credits used by the compute are the free credits of the cloud, and if they are greater than the total credits used, then those are the extra cloud credits, else that will be kept it at 0, means I will be excluding those credits for the calculation. As I mentioned, I have considered for the enterprise edition. For enterprise edition, the Snowflake usually cost $3 if it is of on-demand basis. Effective number of credits multiplied by the Snowflake edition will give the compute cost in USD. Please note that it is just a compute cost. Here I haven't included any storage cost. So since I'm just talking on the warehouse level, here you can see that I'm aggregating over a date with the warehouse name and the compute cost in USD and the which is the currency used and the total number of credits used. This result will give information about the number of credits consumed and the currency in US dollar has been costed for the warehouse per day. So this will give the metering daily history. This is similar to the warehouse metering history, but this will give the data for each day. So here the warehouse metering history will give the data for each 1 hour, how much the credits were billed by all the active warehouses. So that information will be given by warehouse metering history, and this will give per day basis. So per day, for each day, how much the credits has been billed. So going to the edit query, this will give per day how much credit has been billed. This is the query. Metering daily history and account usage and how many credits were billed, and it has been aggregating over usage date, which is per day basis. Here I haven't created any tiles for the organization usage, but in the similar fashion we can create a tiles for the organization usage schema related objects. And if you wanted to get the daily metering history for all the accounts, then you can use the organization usage metering history object. That's it for this video. Please let me know in comments if I need to cover more on this topic. Thank you.